Hello everybody. Let's make sure this thing is going. So I told my patrons this time that if they send me questions in the Discord forum, that's only for my patrons, that I will answer their questions first, just so you guys know I might be answering questions from there, as well as in the chat. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm Jason Brubaker. I've been making comics for a long time, I guess, but professionally, I guess I would consider myself a professional now. But professionally, or full-time, I've been doing it for about 3 years now, ever since 2015, I think, is when I moved here back home to Idaho. I worked in the animation and film industry in Hollywood for a long time, for about almost 20 years, doing storyboards and viz dev and concept design and animation, and worked at DreamWorks and all kinds of stuff. And now I'm just doing my own comics. That's my goal, is to just keep doing my own comics. So there you go. So that's me. Hero says, Q, do you know that you can use the Polygon Lasso tool, and hitting the Alt changes the free Lasso tool so you can do straight lines? Okay, this is one of those things that I know, and I've been shown how to do this, but my brain does not function in a way that can allow me to do this. Like, I don't know why. People I worked with at DreamWorks would do it, and I'd be like, how are you doing that? And they'd show me, and then I'd sit there and work at it and try to get the hand-eye coordination on it, and I just never was able to get it. So, so yes, I'm aware about it, but I'm not smart enough to be able to do it. How do you keep your style consistent during a project that spans over a year? I think the main thing is you have to do a style you love and something that's kind of natural to you, focusing on your strengths so that it comes more naturally. If you focus on your weaknesses and trying to imitate someone else's style, you're always going to be battling to match that style, and you'll always stray from it. And then you might find another style that you're more interested in matching, you know, and so it's always going to fluctuate. So there's that. It's also just making rules for yourself up front. What are the rules you want to follow for the styles? And then it also comes with experience, like years and years of drawing and experience to get to a point where you can kind of show some consistency in your work. And that's just one of those things that comes with practice and practice and practice. And it's one of those things that helps you look more professional if you can keep consistent with the style. But that comes with practice. Whitney says, question, having a hard time visualizing print size versus what I see on my screen. What is the most efficient way to figure out if your art is too big or small for print in early stages of page creation? I think the easiest thing you can do is, if you know the dimensions of your book, print it out. And just print it out on whatever printer you have. Print out a page, you know, get it as close as you can visually on screen, and then print it out the dimensions that you would like to see it printed. And then you immediately can see if the font's too small, or if it's too big, or if things are getting lost, you know. Print it out and even crop an eighth of an inch off of the edges, or even a quarter of an inch off of the edges, just to see, is it going to fit on a page nicely, you know. And that's the best bet. I mean, really is. And if you have a laser printer, that's kind of the closest thing you can get as far as what colors will look like once they're offset printed as well. So it's still different, but if you have access to a laser printer, a color laser printer, it's great for just checking to see how it feels, how the colors look, the size of everything. There's nothing beats that, just actually printing it out. Because otherwise it's just a guess. I had to do that with Phobos. So I made this little book here, and I made this so that I could see if the gray tone works, and I made it to see if what is it, the texture, the grainy film grain texture works when it's printed. I made it to see if the lettering is the right size, because this is a little smaller than I'm used to printing. This is like more of a manga size. Well, this is a manga size book. It's just not as thick. So I wasn't sure, you know, how it would look. And so I paid to have this little print made, this little test printing made. And even though it's not, the last pages aren't finished, you know, I really wanted to make sure I was getting it right. So that's my suggestion. That's the best way to go, I think. And if you don't know if that font is correct, the right size, then compare it to books that you like. That's really the best way to get the printing to be exactly what you want. Is find a book that you love, like the font size or the font style or the way that it's laid out or the size, and compare it to that, you know. And you have a bunch of great guides if you just do that. So good question. Fav Devon asks, how are your updates going to look in the infinite scrolling? Will it be like Citra or more like incremental little chunks? I'm probably going to redo some of the pages that I've put up already, just so that the text is even more legible for when you're looking at it on a phone. And one of my patrons convinced me of that. And because either way I have to reconstruct them for the web viewing experience, and so I might as well just kind of push it more towards Webtoons. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to put them all. That doesn't mean I'm going to put them all together in a big file. I'm still going to have them as individual pages, but I might pull out some of the text and put it in front of or after panels. That way, it's easier to read on the computer in that scrolling format, but it still breaks it up into panels and it still stacks them. So it's kind of, I'm trying to split the difference as much as I can. But my main goal is to make it real easy for people to read it on their mobile and computer. And then obviously if they want to get the book, that would be preferable because that's the format that it was intended for. But I want it to be really easily accessible for people who have access to it. You know, I don't want it to be a cumbersome experience for them to read it on their phone. I really appreciate you guys watching. I just want to shout out some links if you guys want to read this comic, at least the beginning of it. Go to phobos.online. You can read the preview pages. It's a patron-only comic, so I'm giving my patrons full access. They'll see the pages before anyone else. I really appreciate you guys supporting this stuff. It's just, especially working on Phobos, it's like a dream come true because you guys probably know, but I created this in high school or even junior high, and it was such a big dream for me back then. And, you know, it kind of all got crushed and fell away, and I put it on a shelf. And now to like jump back into it and have people respond to it and really like it, it's really like emotional for me. So because it really does mean a lot to me. It's been a story that, you know, it's silly and it's stupid, but it has a lot of weight to it as well. I'm not doing this just because there definitely is, you know, my message in it, and there's definitely a lot of good stuff in it that I really want to say. And so anyway, I just thank you for supporting it and allowing me to do this. It's just like, I didn't think I would be able to do Phobos again. I didn't think I'd have a way to make money doing Phobos, but people are really liking it, and so I just thank you. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next stream. All right, guys, See you later. I'm Jason Brubaker. I have worked for 20 years professionally in Hollywood in storyboards, film, animation, and now I do graphic novels for a living. I'm a completely self-taught artist, and I want to show you a technique that I created to teach myself how to draw. I've developed this book called Cognitive Drawing, daily worksheets that you can use, and once you learn this method, you can imitate any style you want, with or without my workbook. Check out Cognitive Drawing, I'll have it in the links below.